Welcome everybody to this new leadership event here at Parkside. Thank you, first of all, to Parkside for hosting this event and for sponsoring the snacks and refreshments. We are very happy to have Almudena with us here tonight to give us some insights into Management 3.0. And welcome also, by the way, to everybody at home. So we are going to hear a little bit about agile management and leadership in the 21st century. Management and leadership, the beast and the beauty, need to be together. I hear, or we're going to hear. And new leadership community. I don't know, some of you we've seen before, some faces are new. We are, working. We are not working.
That is Murphy.
You're listening.
Murphy woke up. Sorry, Murphy woke up. Yeah.
There we go. A little bit to the new leadership community. Who are we? We are a group of people who really care about how we work, and we want to work together to create, to collaborate, to have a good time as well. And we thought leadership is an important factor in that. So Renee had the idea of coming up with this meetup, leadership meetup in 2020. And yes, I was inspired to collaborate with him. And now we're more people in the organizing team already. And we really would like to contribute a little bit to this new world of work, making work a more inspiring, fun place, organizations that thrive and where people thrive. And we organize regular events, opportunities for people to get together, get inspired, hear new theories, hear stories out of, the real world of work and how leaders manage nowadays, and also for you to meet and talk and network. And this is us, Renee, Nico, and Carola, who can't be here today, and Melanie, who will also join us since Nico moved to Innsbruck and is leaving us. And how can you support us? By coming to our events like tonight, by spreading the word about us, by liking, sharing our posts, and please smile when photographed. Ah, that's cute. And of course, if you don't want to be on a picture, let us know. Is there anyone here tonight who does not want to be photographed by Renee or someone else? Everybody.
You don't have to raise your hand, just approach me.
Or me,
Yeah.
because I made the picture already.
Okay. I think we're ready.
Okay, and me too.
And welcome, Almudena.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you everybody online. It's actually my third meetup in Graz. I was just speaking about Amfix, and I see some faces again, and I see some faces from the last one. Wow, thank you. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for being here. To my person, for the couple of people who might not know me, for the ones who know me, I'll make it quick. You see the name and you hear my accent and you can associate it. Yes, I'm a Spaniard. I'm Basque, from Spanish parents. Grew up in Spain, went to high school in the United States, went to college in Germany. Yeah, and got stuck there. I come from the telco. I'm a software engineer. I was 22 years working for this tiny little company called Ericsson, 150,000 employees in 180 countries. And I was many, many years writing software in some languages you've never heard of the name and you don't want to hear. I was one of the guinea pigs for the first Scrum teams ever from Ericsson 2011, where a huge company said, shall we try out agility? Now everybody's trying it out, the complete automobile industry, the complete telco. But 2011, it was something for small companies, So I had the honor of being one of these guinea pigs, and we learned a lot. I had different roles also. I was in quality, I was involved in market introduction. And 5 years ago, together with some colleagues, we took a decision. We left Ericsson and we created this company, Rodriguez Pardo and Socks, where we are doing any support you might need in agile transformations. I'm invited in several conferences to speak in Spanish and German and English. The accent is the same. And I'm trying now for the French ones. That's going to be a challenge. And that is very important to see where are we heading for? Where is agility going? Is there anything new? Not much change. What I'm going to present you today, actually, not much new, to be honest. Probably things you have here before, and Jürgen has put them together. That's the beauty of Jürgen's work. He managed to take things here and there and put them together. And yeah, I have several certifications, almost all of them, because you have to know also the certification market for your customers. People come up and say, Almudena, what shall I do next? Some certifications are great, some are terrible, and you have to know them. What can we do for you? Almost everything in the world of agility, from talks, presentations, we do a lot of consulting. We are very active in Austria, actually. Tomorrow I'm traveling to Vienna, where my main customers are sitting, but we are also in Wales and in Kärnten. We are active in Mexico, Luxembourg, and France right now. So we can benchmark a lot of what's happening internationally in the world of agility. Enough to my person. Are you familiar with these questions? Have you asked yourself this question ever? Whenever I present this slide, everyone says, what Jürgen Appello did many years ago, 2011, he was running workshops all over the world. And he collected posits with the questions of the people. He has this picture of a huge amount of posits, and he summarized them to these questions. Those are the questions everybody's asking worldwide in any company. Those are the questions all managers take with them when they meet a consultant. And that's the good news. We all have the same problem. The bad news is we don't have an answer. But interesting enough that it's always about changing somebody else. If you look at that question, it's about how can I change them? I had a manager, a very nice manager in Ericsson, who said once to me, how can I manage to make them be more, her body language was very effective. So this is what they have in common. We're always speaking about the other ones. Jürgen Appello is not the only first to speak about management. Management has been always there, and it has been with a big question mark. Google, when they was founded, they said, let's have no management. Oh, Larry Page and Bert, they said, we're Google, we're in Palo Alto. Let's run the company without managers. After 2 years, they changed their mind. They said, no, please, everybody's coming to us for whatever crap. Let's put some management in place. But then Google said, okay, what makes out a good manager? And they have something called the Project Oxygen. If you go to Google and you look Project Oxygen, you get the results of the investigation they did with big data, and they have data in Google. The only thing they have. What makes out a good manager? The results are no surprise. So far, nothing new. What I'm not going to give you today is theory of management models. There is enough out there. Leadership and management theories are enough, and that's not the point of making a new model, for God's sake. What is in Management 3.0 is the practical part. When managers come to me and say, Almudena, how could I motivate my people? Say, okay, I don't have an answer, but I have a couple of practices and games and tools which you can try out. And Almudena, how can I delegate? That is a huge thing. After 30 years telling you what to do, suddenly I empower you. How can I do this? Okay, try this out, try this out. So what we have in Management 3.0 is just practical things. Don't expect a Big Bang theory. famous question, which we might answer later with a glass of beer or a glass of wine. The ones online maybe look at themselves in the mirror. But it's also a question which has been around 20 years. And most of the definitions are more or less right. I don't like any of them. But I won't go in detail here. It's also not my point today. I just as both words are coming up pretty mixed up. Management 1.0, Management 2.0, where does comes Management 3.0? A bit of a storytelling where the whole thing comes out, why Jürgen Appello called it Management 3.0. There was once upon a time, Management 1.0 was the traditional management from the last centuries. And it worked beautifully. That is, over many years, I mean, we sent a man to the moon with traditional management, and it came back. So, Taylor was an engineer. When we say Taylorismos, oh my God, nothing wrong about it. Taylor was an engineer. And what he said, let's take the complexity of the whole and subdivide it on the simplicity of the parts. If each person does something small, we put it together. And Henry Ford said, great, I put a car together. And he did it, applying Taylorismos. So it worked, actually. It's about creating some frameworks where you have a clear top-down strategy. Somebody knows the whole and tells you what to do very clearly without any doubts. You speak about resources. You must move them as resources back and forth. I love it when we do resource allocation, distributing the people 30% here and 40% there. Say, call them people, so then you will see one leg cannot go to the right and one arm to the left. But as long as they're only resources, you can put them in an Excel sheet. That comes all from the good old times where everything was working perfectly. If you consider this picture, they put things together. Training on the job was 5 minutes for the rest of your life. And if somebody left, there's no problem. They just take anybody. Nobody wanted brains. We just wanted 2 hands. And it worked. Cars were being built. Even if we put digitalization on top, even if we put 5G connections, management did not change. There was no need for. Now, the industry developed. Also, our customers were captive. Henry Ford did not joke when he said this. You want the car, it's going to be black. And people said, yes, thank you. Because the customer was also captive. But at some point, Industry 2.0 moved on to Industry 4.0. And here we come in this. From repetitive products, suddenly you needed innovation. You put one product in the market, somebody started competing with it right away. We used to have in Zara, Desigual, twice a year a collection, the winter collection and the summer collection, and you waited 6 months for the new collection. Nobody waits 6 months. Desigual has a new collection every month. Zara changes the clothes in the shops every week. So we have completely innovation in any sector. Nobody leaves a product there and waits forever. We used to have captive markets. When I was a young girl in Bilbao, in the old times in the 70s, and I wanted to have my bank account, I went out on the streets and there was one possibility, Cajas de Ahorros Vizcaína. That was the one with the most offices. So it was a captive market. You went to the bank, which was in front of your house. Now, any kid can open an account anywhere in the world with 3 clicks, and it's for free. So we have global competitors. The banks are all going in agility. Why? Fintechs compete with them. My son is studying economy, he's 20, and he was standing with me at some place, and he was doing something on the phone, saying, what the heck are you doing with your phone right now? Oh, I am some stocks, Mama. I'm selling some other ones. With 20. Well, we're waiting for a car to come. So, global competitors, anywhere. War for talent. We can just take anybody in the streets and people are not standing in the line out there. There's a fight to find somebody. Big talent in Europe is difficult. In my free time, I have a work agency in LinkedIn. Almudena, do you have a Scrum Master for me? Almudena, do you have a product owner? Almudena, I need a Scrum Master in Barcelona who speaks German, English, and Spanish and can also translate. I can get you a unicorn. That's more easy. So this is what we have right now. That's the market we have. The big fish is not eating the small fish anymore. The snailfish is eating the slow fish, independent of the size. So with so many changes and increasing uncertainty, latest 2020, we learned in April that life can radically change. Uncertainty is huge. Right now we have 2 wars ongoing in Europe. Uncertainty is huge. So what is keeping awake the CEOs from the Fortune 500? What's keeping them awake? Cybersecurity. When you were speaking with 2G, 3G, any hacker could have opened the door and listened to you. 4G, 5G products from telco are like Fort Knox is the most required. If somebody breaks in here and wants to take some assets, well, you know, but if they break into your computer or your database, we have a problem. Have you heard from artificial intelligence? Probably 10 times today and 12 times yesterday. What do we do there? Everybody's confused. We know we have to do something. The CEOs know they have to do something. What? And why aren't cars without driver driving out there in Graz? Because they're finished already. Regulations. Why was Switzerland the first country to use 5G on the telecommunications? Because they are not in the European Union. The regulations did not allow it. And 5G was already working in Asia. So regulations are slower than the path of innovation. Those are the problems we're facing. Now try to solve them with management 1.0. It's not working. So this is probably one of the most beautiful disruptions. In the country of automobile industry in Germany, Tesla puts a factory and eats up the market. You see in Germany, I live in Germany, so many people driving Tesla. In the country from Mercedes, Porsche, Volkswagen, people are driving Tesla. This is a huge disruption. All the automobile industry is looking into agility with more success or less. So you might have innovation and you might have disruption. Innovation means you have a beautiful product, somebody comes and makes it better. And you might have disruption. You have a beautiful product, somebody comes into the market with something which makes this obsolete. Think of the CDs, the compact discs. Only 20 years alive, Spotify arrived. How many CDs did you buy in the last months? Not many. It was a huge disruption. So this is what we're facing. What brought us here cannot bring us further. Management 1.0 was not bad, was okay for the time being. Now things have so radically changed, it's not enough. We have to move on. Okay, now the solution arrived. Agility, with all the nice around. This beautiful poetry, these 4 sentences, and all the noise which agility brings with it, seem to have a solution. So we arrived to management 2.0, where we knew, okay, now we have people and not resources. And we're not managers, we're servant leaders, but we hold the horses. Yeah, a bit of agility here, a bit of agility there, but I still take the last decision, please. And here you come in really funny situations. I wish they were funny, yeah. I had a company in Sevilla, where of course, an agile company has a how do you call it in English, kicker? Football table? Kicker is German, huh? Football machine. Let's call it a football machine. Wurzelmaschine. Okay, whatever you want to call this machine to play football. All companies which were agile had one. And they had one, this small company, so like this one where we're here. They had one, and the lady from Human Resources was standing by it in the lunchtime. And at some point she said, venga chiquillo, que estás aquí todo el rato jugando, vete a trabajar, anda. I won't translate that. Miss, move your boat and go to work. You've been 10 minutes here already. This happened. Or a friend of mine, she said, Almudena, they've put a beautiful corner in our offices with colors and cushions and English slogans, even we're all Spaniards. Yeah, they've put it there. to inspire us. I said, okay, and well, still my manager doesn't talk to me. I said, well, how many are you? 9. How far from you is he sitting? Next door. No say. So you try to improve the atmosphere, put in some beautiful corners like in Spotify, you know. So, and of course, you go into some companies where you have everything covered with posits. That was before COVID. Now they have the mirror boards full of posits. They look the same. I say, wow, hey, ooh, it's probably agile. After 10 minutes, I say, no, it's not. So we were coming to this management to zero. Could look like leadership, but it was not. It was a little bit, but not too much. By now, we realized already that whatever change we introduced, management was the biggest problem. If I'm doing a workshop with developers, I come from the development. I'm running a workshop with product management. I'm not worried. I'm running a workshop with middle management. I know I have to pick them up. I have to pick them up because the agile transformation otherwise will not move on. We still had in management to zero the performance evaluation. We still had our goal setting. The goals, thank goodness, at some point went on company level, and we had some, but then we didn't understand them anymore. But you still had a bonus depending on that. And we've had a bit of empowerment yet, a bit. At some point, we realized, no, it's one step forward, management 3.0. We look at an organization like a city. Whenever the Feuerwehr, my English today, Feuerwehr in English, don't tell me the Steiermark version. The firefighters, the firefighter need to run. Do they call the mayor first and check if they're allowed to? No, please, we need velocity. Yeah? So everybody knows the rules, the framework, and everybody behaves best for the city. That was where Management 3.0 was born. Very poetic so far. Interesting is what Collins did in the 90s. Jim Collins looked into the market stock in the USA and took the 11 companies which were 7 times better than the average of the stock market. If you were over 15 years, 7 times better than the average, because 1 year you can be better, I was lucky. 15 years, 7 times better than the rest. And he took these 11 companies and looked into them. What makes these companies special? What's the difference? And one of the biggest factors was the leader. It was what he called the level 5 leader. It was always a CEO which has never been on the first page of the Time magazine. It was not Jack Welch. It was nobody in love with himself. The name was unknown in the publicum. It was somebody which put himself behind his team. It was what we call the servant leader. The organization first and me behind it. So then we realized the impact what leadership can have. And that's where Management 3.0 was born. Because even we have leadership, we need management. I'm coming to that. So we are now human-centric. Fantastic. And Peter Drucker already said it, and it's nothing new. Management is the determinant factor. I have to pick up in any transformation the middle managers, yeah, and I have to take care of management. Careful here, we have a difference between manager and management. Management has to be done. The question is whether we do it with managers or not. And here we could have a huge discussion on how many managers do you need to have management. If you delegate some management activities in the employees, you might need less managers. But never ever the number of managers said something on the quality of a company. And I've seen companies with a lot of managers. I was running beautifully. And then companies with a couple of managers, really, the average was little, but they were the most traditional ones and nothing moved on. So one manager can kill the flow. So number of managers says nothing. But management and manager has to be separated. And management can be done by managers or by employees. And here it's important that we secure people feel responsible to take over some management to help the managers. Okay? We could say, all right, if everybody start taking over management, what do the managers do? Don't worry, this still works for everybody. The only thing left is to take hold of the system. Only thing left. Take care of the system. It is a huge thing to be done. And taking care of the system is things which maybe some employees don't like to do. Some software developers, they just enjoy doing their work and product, and taking care of something what would provider said, for God's sake, don't bother me with that. We need managers there. I will compare while the football players are playing Barça against Real Madrid, Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, is with his back to the game, selling the club to sponsors, handing some contracts. That is his job. Football playing, something the others can do without him. And handing the contracts of the sponsors, nothing the players want to do. So this management taking care of the system, that is what's left in Management 3.0, not commanding the people around. Putting a bit more poetic, agile leadership. Don't try to make the plant grow. That was Management 1.0. So you're going to grow 1 centimeter every day, or there's consequences. You take care, the system is there, the plants grow by themselves. People do their job. I've met probably 2,000 people in working environments, my own colleagues in Ericsson, and everybody I meet at meetups and working as a consultant. And I've met 2 lazy persons, which is pretty good average, 1 per 1,000. People want to work. Just they might need an environment for it. It's never the people the problem. And that is Management 3.0. That is what we expect from our leaders, that they take care of this part of the management. So they have to run the systems, support the company to achieve the purpose, whatever is needed to do that. Observing, watching. When we had the first Scrum teams, it was terrible. Everybody was confused. It was a big room like this, open office, and everybody was going nuts. Nobody knew what to do. And some emotions in the air. And our department manager, Thomas, came. He looked at us in front of everybody, and he said, "Hey, what can I do for you?" And it was one of the best management situation I've ever seen. He could see the nervosity. He said, "This is not working. This is not working. In Stockholm, they want it from us, and this is not working. And we cannot work in Scrum. Scrum doesn't work." I said, "Okay, don't worry." And he started seeing how he could solve the problem of being a small Scrum island in a company with 150,000 people. It was a challenge. So Management 3.0, as I said, is not another framework. It's not another beautiful theory. It's just an approach to give you some practice, some advice build, some collection of games, tools, practices, to try things out. To say, Almudena, okay, we want to move on. It's on both sides. I had a situation once in Ericsson when I was telling the managers, you have to delegate, you have to empower the people. And the manager said, okay, went to the teams, say, which project do you want to work in, this one or this one? And the team said, no, you decide. Not that we take a decision wrong, more responsibility for the same money. No, thank you. So it has to be trained on both sides. That's not only the manager's fault. If over 30 years we've been telling the people what to do, and they say, now it is your decision, they are like, So we have to train it. We have tools, practices, and games for it. By the way, you can interrupt me anytime. I forgot to say it at the beginning, but I hope it was obvious. We have Marty, that is Marty, the monster from Management 3.0. And he has several arms on the areas where Management 3.0 works on, main areas. We work on energizing people, whatever is about motivation, happiness at work. Some manager says, that sounds a bit esoteric. Say, well, if people are happy at work and motivated, you can go and have a coffee. Motivation is proven, it is 21% more effective when people are motivated. Never, ever. Some big invention was done by not motivated people. So how can we energize it? How can we secure the system runs? Maybe putting one of these football machines is a solution. I'm not sure. Empowerment. And this is a tricky thing. And here Jürgen has beautiful created 7 levels where we go step for step. It's not black and white. You delegate or you delegate not. It's not black and white. And when I came in a Scrum team 2011, we were hyperventilating because who is responsible for this now? No, you, the Scrum team. Okay. Who is responsible for it? Yeah, the Scrum team. And who's going to do this now? Of course, the Scrum team. We were terribly nervous with so much responsibility. So it has to be a step by step. Constraints. People can work on their own, self-organize if we clarify the frame. And that's what the Scrum has done, that's what SAFe has done. Clarify the frame where you work inside. The same that you paint the white lines of a football place. Inside these white lines, the football players can do whatever they want. If the ball was over, ball is out. So this has to be defined also by management. What are the constraints? You might have a smaller place or a big one. We have to develop the competence. When I came in Ericsson, I was 2 weeks there, right from the university. And one manager opened the door. So, Almudena, you are starting tomorrow the Perl course. Door 2. Look at my colleague, what is Perl? Whatever it was, I wasn't to the course. Somebody decided for me what was good for my training. Now we want to have managers, coaches, that people come up to you, say, hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to have this training. Hey, that's what I'm interested in. And then the manager can see, do we have budget? Do we have the possibility? How do we handle the situation? But it is more of a coach to support you, but you take the decision about your life. I had a colleague. I met his girlfriend at the tennis club. I said, how is Mike doing? He said, oh, he's not happy. I said, why? His manager is not giving him any work. We're speaking about a man, 55, who has built a house, planted a tree, has 2 kids, and had a doctor in informatics. I said, he's sitting around waiting for his manager to bring him work. So we want the people to have the initiative, say, hey, I want to be trained in this. I'm really interested in artificial intelligence. Which course could I do? Say, okay, let's think how we can handle this. When I'm doing, when I'm consulting, people come up, Almudena, where can I learn more about the product owner? Where can I learn more Scrum Master? I love it. I say, hey, people want to learn. Grow the structure. How does a company grow? How many hierarchies do we need? Can we grow fractal, organic, or we might need some hierarchy? Completely flat hierarchy could be dangerous starting a few thousand people. There are a lot of experiments out there. But which structures do we buy? Do you want to go into silos? And the whole thing has to be improved. It's about change. Everything we do with agile leadership is about change. So far, it's easy. So what we're giving you in Management 3.0 are just a couple of possibilities to try things out. Last week, at a customer in Vienna, I used the Kudos car and used the personal maps last week, Wednesday. I tried it out. That's a small example from the battery of possibilities we have. And as Jürgen Appello says, try one, and if you don't like it, try the other one. I have been introducing the celebration grid, for example, in many retrospectives to get the people to experiment, to try little by little to move on. Of course, the delegation pocket is probably one of the most famous ones we have because it has really helped to go step for step when delegating. I like to hang a delegation matrix. So those are the ways we're trying to approach to take the traditional management by the one hand and the employees by the other one and say, okay, with these practices and tools, you can go in the direction you want to go, but you don't know how. I was running this course in a bank in Spain. Everybody sitting there, 35 managers, had been at this bank like 30 years already. So average age was in my age. And they were looking at me. The more I presented Management 3.0 was just smoke coming out of the head. See, Almudena, when I was hired 30 years ago, I was told to control the people, to set KPIs, to secure they were working, to say exactly the contrary from what you are telling me. I said, yes, you were hired to management 1.0, and now we're in management 3.0. And then I feel really sorry because it's a huge change. Social managers is a huge change. Coming back to the definition of management 3.0, we take care of the system and not of the people. We have to finish my presentation and then we can open up a discussion. There are 5 principles in management 3.0, which they are not rocket science. Engage the people. Don't try to push, try to engage them in a way that they pull. And this is actually the first sentence from the agile manifesto. I said there was no rocket science. Secure the people, move and secure the interactions, the strong network and the light network. Forums called or communities of practice can really push. We were driving with the community of practice voluntary, the agile transformation in Ericsson, Germany. So try to secure people and interactions. The informal network is the most powerful way to move on. Improve the system, not the people. I cannot say this enough. And this is from Lean. It's not even anything new. Improve the system. Do you need to go back to the other one? Okay. Number 3, clients is not just the customer. It is the suppliers. If you take the cheapest supplier, what wonder, it's always late. And it's coming from another continent, your flow is going to be broken. Delight your suppliers, delight your customers, delight your employee, delight your stakeholders, whoever it does, make a stakeholders map and secure everybody is delighted. Not having a very happy customer, but the people have a burnt out, or have the most happy employees, but we're selling nothing. So secure, we have a clear map of all our stakeholders. We've seen this one, and I cannot show it enough. And co-create. Co-creation is now very much used within teams, yes, but outside teams and with the customer. Complexity is so high that maybe we invite the customer not just to see the demo or the sprint review, from the very beginning to say, okay, you want something, do you want to be on board and help us to create it? Do you want maybe already to invest in it? So secure as a manager, also co-creation. So those are the management 3.0 principles, nothing new, beautifully put together, things we already had there. And now I'm gonna secure that you're awake. Please, the ones online, you can switch, open your microphone. What is the best management experience you can remember? It doesn't have to be related to the principles. And what is the worst management experience you can remember? Doesn't have to be related to the principles now. That is something for the course. But in the room, do you have any stories? Because I could tell you stories all night long, but I want to hear your stories. What's the best? I told you one of my best management experiences. The day Thomas came and said, how can I help you? What do you have? Also the ones online. Any suggestions for a great management experience and for a terrible management experience? Don't name the company, please. Oh my God. Okay, we have one. A horror story.
Yes.
All right, we're prepared.
So there was a team where it didn't work out. Management covered it up for, let's say, a year. But there comes a time when you cannot push stuff under the rug. At some point, you can say it will work next week. You can say it once, you can say it twice, you can say it 6 months, but at some point in time, something burns down so horribly wrong that we need to sack 2 developers, 1 team lead, and the department manager.
They were all fired.
They leave, are no longer with the company. And the team, losing orders, started performing. It's not a horror story. Yes, I lived through it.
After four people were taken out of the team.
Yes.
I've seen a similar story. It was only one person, thank goodness. Is part of the management role to see the rotten apple on the right moment.
The horror is that a lot of people knew, but nobody took action. And in my book, they are all guilty because they
And-
didn't do anything.
Yes, and I've seen that too. We had one person, Ericsson, which was being moved from one team to another, and management knew it.
They don't name the company, but yes.
It's a very long time ago, that's the reason I can still name it. Okay, more stories, please.
Yeah, I have a bad experience to tell as well. So I had a discussion with our CEO, who is my CEO of a former company, and we were thinking to fire one guy. And I said, well, you have to do it. I can't do it because this guy was working in another country where I was not responsible. And when the last possible day to fire this guy came, I got a call from the HR person telling me I have to fire this person because the CEO didn't want to take over the responsibility. It was a really nice experience.
It was not leading by example from your CEO.
Sort of.
Not what I call leading by example. Okay, we have some terrible stories. But do we have some beautiful stories? Who have seen management work as a leader?
Nobody?
Yes.
It's hard to see the 21st century, to be honest, especially with the, I'm coming from Croatia. I had also one horror story. I was product owner in my last company, and we were working in beauty and health sector, actually, and we had a small team. It was startup. And our engineers are from China, and they are pretty cool guys, few of them. And what haunts me from that still is that our CEO, he made some, I would say, really bad decisions from the business side. And it cost us almost everything what we got from investors. And we were in a situation where this product is really good and we could succeed. But our salary, for example, was late. At first half of the year, it was late for a month, let's say. Yeah. But I'm actually an ex-professional athlete and European champion in Taekwondo. So my mindset is that I'm not leaving the ship. It's not going to start since I'm sticking to the end and doing whatever I can. So I'm also not a practitioner. And I use some of my techniques, the tools that I know, to motivate the team. And it was pretty much successful. And I was also on it from the start. And as our CEO always speak with us and tell us, okay, we will get the money, but deep inside I know that that is a lie. And also some of them have families, have children. And something that drives me crazy still when I went for a sleep is that, and coming to my eyes is that I used everything to achieve the result. It's a great result. We won product design award from the Red Dot. We won the Cosmopolitan Award. We won everything we can win in each sector and starting to work in that sector. But at the end, the CEO didn't tell us nothing, and he started administration process and didn't pay salary for 5 months. Not me and my team, but was the terrible part of them. It's not about me, it's about the team, because I was their leader.
Yeah, thank you very much for a terrible story. It's about transparency. And here's where we see leadership.
That's what I-
And here I will say leading by example. There's not enough money to pay salaries, and be the first one not to get the salary. That's what we would have said. At least he could have said, you see, we don't have enough money. I won't take a salary either. That I will have been not a beautiful solution, but the best possible solution for leadership. Thank you very much let's not have a depressing atmosphere. I want one positive story, please. One positive story in the room. Thank you.
I'll try. So my company is in the automotive industry. Therefore, the word strikes last year were a first thing for us. I talked to the Betriebsrat,
Work council.
and he said we didn't never do this. We are not used to this. We don't know. So it all took 3 months longer than usual. And at the third meeting, not only he was standing in front of it with the microphone, one of the top management persons showed up. Not the owner, but one of his closest circle. And he went up and said, okay, this is what we do. This is what we have budgeted. This is what the currently is in talks, and this is the budget we have. If we have to, we will follow the contract to the letter. And this is our budget, and this is going to increase the money that we need by roughly, because the median income is this. And a lot of people heard said, wow, I'm not happy in the situation to be there being, do we need to strike again? But there was somebody that stood up and said, okay, this is management. I need to tell those people what we can do.
So there was transparency.
Not enough transparency,
Yeah,
because every
That's-
first line number.
yeah, that's leadership, showing up and being transparent. Thank you. And here we come to management and leadership. We need management, and we need leadership. And you might have managers who are leaders. And when you have seen one, kiss them. I had one. I had a lady, a Swedish lady. She was a leader. And it was amazing how she did her job of being our manager. And we might have managers who will never be leaders. Who will stick in 1-0 saying, I hold myself here. And you might have natural leaders, which are no managers. You'll know in your company somebody, when this person speaks up, everybody looks at them and listens. And this is maybe just a software engineer, but has natural leadership, and people follow them. And you need them too. So you need people to run the system, to take care of the system. You need people to inspire and lead. And they might be on the same person or not. So we're going to have still management with as many managers as needed. And we need to grow leadership. And if the managers are also leaders, hallelujah. And when you have seen one, it's amazing. I'm following this lady for many years. We haven't seen each other for a long time. And she was really a leader. To finish up, I've given you some inspiration, what Management 3.0 is about. We have 30,000 certified attendees, 475 facilitators, and we have the main modules, which is the foundation workshop and agile in HR, which our company is certified in. And then we have the follow-up leadership workshops. Once you have done the foundation, we can go a bit deeper into some leadership areas, again, with some tricks and tips how to be a better leader. That's what's about. Which country worldwide has 25 or 35% of the facilitators? From the 575, I think 80 or 90 come from Brazil. Very interesting impact. We have a lot of Germany and Austria, hardly any in USA. It's too many colors. Doesn't look serious. It's a lot of cultural aspects behind. Huge amount in Latin America, Mexico, Latin America, huge amount of facilitators there. Not that many in Asia. So it's also a very cultural aspect where leadership is moving on. And here's a bit of management foundation. This is the 2 days official workshop. And this is a 1-day workshop with different areas where we go deeper into innovation, into change, into driving people, hiring people, or how to grow a team. No, as a manager, you secure, you grow a team. I will move to question, but first I want to give you the chance to present what's going to happen before I handle the questions in the new leadership in the next time. I'm staying, don't worry. I'm not going.
Well, first of all, thank you.
Not finished. The questions are coming, but
Thank you, Almudena.
thank you for inviting me.
Inspiring words and always entertaining to listen to you. Always.
I have to
I
keep
think
you
that's
awake.
fun. The Spanish temperament shows through. I like it. So, the new leadership community has a few more events coming up. The next one will be in March 13th at Landhafen again. And we have 2 wonderful guests, Susanne Maurer-Aldrian, Geschäftsführerin from Lebensgroß, and Ariane Pfleger, Vorstandsdirektorin from the Raiffeisen Landesbank. I really look forward to this event. And on the 25th, there's another Intervision or kollegiale Fallberatung with René and Manuela Grundner. Another Curious Leaders Jam session with Carola Sakotnik, a very upbeat, musical, interactive event that's on the 3rd of April. And I think it's the 22nd to the 26th this year, the new work Wirbel here in Graz. We will be taking part in a also more creative event. Melanie and I are hosting the Vision Dinner, where you can come and show up as your future self and kind of play that role, who you are going to be in the next 5 years. So
Don't make it too long.
We had a lot of laughs. It was really fun. And also the new leadership breakfast will happen on Friday of this week. So we will, host it again and hopefully see you at one of these events. And now back to you and the question.
I will say officially for the first, muchísimas gracias por su atención. Finally, I can say something without an accent. And I officially finished the official part. And now I come back to the questions, comments, feelings. We'll do it still also open up for the people who are online. Happy that you have been with us. And maybe if you want to open up the microphone, we'll be happy to listen to you.
One request so they can also hear the questions, please shortly repeat them, because they're not going to hear someone else.
Okay, all right, thank you for that, yes.
I was typing the stories.
Okay, okay, now I understand what you were doing. Feelings, impressions, does it make sense? Please.
I was wondering about your opinion if motivation is something a person has or if it's given from other people. So if you think as a manager you have to motivate people to be motivated, or if they have to come to work to be motivated.
Very good point. Can I oblige you to laugh?
Yes.
But maybe it would be a bit weird, right? If I come to you and say, come on, laugh, 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 eh? Or
I do laugh yoga, so yeah.
or I can create an atmosphere which is comfortable. I get when I smile, I tell you a joke, I tell you stupid Spanish jokes, which makes an atmosphere where you can laugh. So I can create the atmosphere, and of course at the end it's you. But if I'm holding the presentation like this, and I have been like this talking for 50 minutes, and then I tell you what management looks like and what could be of leadership, but you know that it could be, because you know me already. Then the motivation might be killed automatically. So that is the point. As a leader, you can set up the stage for motivation to be there. And then it's up to the people to be motivated or not. My experience is once the stage is there, when the possibilities are there, people want to do a job. So I was preparing something and we were late, some documentation were late. And my graphic designer she has a family, Saturday and Sunday working for me like nuts, doing the formatting. And I say, Samantha, I feel so terrible about this. I said, don't worry, I'm going to charge you. But still, she did it on a Saturday and Sunday with 2 kids and a family and a dog. Because I needed, she was motivated because it's fun to work for my company's graphic designer, I assume. So this is the things you can create the atmosphere. Please.
I thought about the same because I think you can't motivate somebody who's not motivated himself or herself. But on your slides you had like keep the employee motivated. So I would agree to that you can like create the I don't know, atmosphere, whatever, to keep them motivated and not demotivate them. But what you said as well is it's never the people. Like people themselves are motivated, and I wouldn't agree to that because depending on their experiences from the past, not with that leader, but maybe with another leader, they can be that demotivated that they just are so frustrated.
Okay, so come frustrated from another background, then you have to bring them to the point. And here you're right, every person is different. Jürgen has put there many motivations theory. You have the Darcy theory with the 16 factors, you have the other one with the 3. There are many motivation factors. Jürgen has put it down to 10. I think it's for me, it's 9. And each of us in this room has one motivator. And we help the people when they make decisions, say what's motivating you. I analyzed with the motivators what moved me to leave Ericsson and to create my own company, where I had a fantastic job, good salary, and from the Betriebsrat point of view, there was no way to get rid of me. That's the good thing in Germany. Starting certain age, you're like a holy cow. And still, I said, no, I'm going. I'm motivated to create my company. But then I wanted to know what's motivating me. So it's not the money. Of course, it's nice to make money. We're happy to make money for sure. But motivators are always something different. And I've been in many funny situations. I arrived as a consultant to a company, and I was running courses, and one name was mentioned more and more. Let's call it Pachi. Because Pachi here, Pachi there, and Pachi's not going to like that. And I hear, said, that's in Scrum Master. And this name is being repeated all the time. This person has an influence. I have to observe it because as an agile transformator, I cannot lose the Scrum Masters. And then Pachi arrived, and I saw him, and I understood the way he looked, he spoke. He needs a status. He needs to be recognized. I said, okay, that's what he needs. I'm going to give him. Pachi, could you come over? Thank you. Could you please help me? Put me with me on the stage. And I made him my assistant. And I kept saying, hey, thank you to Pachi for helping me here. And he was the best help I could have. I gave him the motivation, what he needed.
Sometimes you're not able to give them what motivates them. If somebody is motivated, like intrinsically motivated by, I don't know, his family or whatever, and wants to have like work remote 100%, but for the team, it's not good because sometimes they need to meet, then it's something you can give them. So
yeah, that is, motivation is not perfect. And it's not always that simple as with patching. In some cases, it's a bit more complex. There might be 3 or 4 factors. And of course, I was mother of 2 kids, working a Scrum team with my husband traveling to another city to work. So I've been in this situation and I'm very much empathetic. But it might be a situation where you say, no, it's the wrong team for you. They need you in the office 2 or 3 days a week for whatever reason. So that's not with motivation. That is again with the framework we have. That defines also, and it's over the motivation. We have a framework where we are working in. Some companies are defining, some leave it open. So you might have to change to a company with more flexibility. It's not exactly the motivation, it's facts. And sometimes motivation is sort of easy, where I had it with Pachi, and sometimes I have to observe the person. What is this person motivators out of the 10? Sometimes these motivators for Jürgen, we use them in interviews, work interviews. What brings you to this company? Put them in a row. From the motivators, what brings you here? It's very interesting.
This is where coaching culture will come in, right?
Yeah. So, and this is management work, and you cannot motivate everybody together. You have to go one by one. You have the motivation one by one. And my manager, I was very much requested as in Ericsson for conferences, for international conferences. I was invited in London, but there was no budget for it. And my manager knew I was going to go there, even if I had to swim over the channel. So he managed to find a way to pay me the trip. He said, don't tell anybody because right now traveling is forbidden, but come go, because he knew that really motivates me. And he came back from London really motivated, and then I helped him whatever he needed. And so how much can we play? How much can we move around? Not everything's possible, but maybe you can adjust. Any questions online?
No one wants to unmute and ask, but in the chat there is, what is the effective level to start leadership change in your experience? So in what way do you as a change maker get involved? At what level of in a hierarchy? And can you share some experience of convincing or making it clear to these people that leadership change might be important?
Okay, from my experience, yeah, I have to think because it's four questions together actually. It's 4 questions. Where do you start? You start where you are. So if you want to go running tomorrow, where do you start? Where you are. Do you have running shoes? So that is what. Where are you? Second, a change has to start as high as possible, so all the way up, all the way up. From my experience, it is sort of easy to get them on board the C-level, and it's sort of easy to get the employees on board. The middle management is floating in the space. Those are the ones who upstairs, not much has to change. Downstairs, they are happy because they see the wings, and in the middle, they just see they are losing power. They don't see anything else for the first. So here's where we mostly have more work to do. I try with middle management one-to-ones. So coffee corner talks and how do you feel and what's up. I had a manager who was devastated because Almudena, before the agile transformation, I had 17 reports. Now I only have 7. Where's the problem? Status was gone. So here you have to be careful to see what is its management. So middle management is mostly the biggest challenge because are the ones who are lost in space. And yes, you need to get everybody on board. If you don't get the top management on board, and that happened to me, a change in the C-level, new executive comes in and says, agility, what's that? And in a couple of weeks, the agile transformation was gone. So you have to secure everybody. You have to anchor the transformation in all levels and take a lot of love to the middle management. I hope I answered the question. Please.
Are these questions answered? Do you think
I would think so.
okay.
Yes, they are.
To the middle management, I cannot remember the context, but you said sometimes you had to beat up the middle management.
Beat up.
Beat up, yeah.
I've never used violence.
Yeah, but you used the word.
No.
My question would be, how do you beat out middlemen?
I mostly give them a lot of love. No, I think the biggest spiel I gave is a middle manager I knew who was asking me how to motivate her people. And she said, how can I get them motivated? It was the middle manager. She was trying to motivate her people. She was so desperate that she began kicking in the air because she was not able to motivate them. And that's what I will never beat up anybody, for God's sake. Sorry for this misunderstanding. It was repeating and
I think it was like sometimes you have to pick up middle management.
yeah, you have to pick them up. Sorry, it was my English. It was a bit of a Spanish in between. You have to pick them up and you have to go and pick them up literally. No? So when I saw some middle management who didn't come to
After you beat them down. No.
I never use violence. I might start today. But if you notice somebody who is sort of looking, I look at a lot of the faces, and you can read already in the faces who is like, and then when the meeting or course or workshop is over, and then I'll go over and say, hi, what's your name? And then I try to find out a little bit behind, and then I got these conversations, what I'm losing status, I don't know what to do anymore. One middle manager wanted to join all the ceremonies of the team. I said, hell no, go to the demos, period. But that's only every 2 weeks. And yeah, how do I know what's happening? Every 2 weeks. You don't trust your people to be 2 weeks working without you looking over the shoulder. So then you identify the problem and you have to go with a lot of love. Say, could we maybe handle that you go once a week to visit them? So little by little. There is no one recipe to pick up middle management like picking up a bunch of ships. Every person has another background. Please.
I have a question. Sometimes it's quite easy to say yes to something, but it's much harder to say no or make uncomfortable decisions or something like that. So
sometimes it's difficult to say yes to something, although we had to say no.
It's easy to say yes to something.
Yeah.
But it's quite harder to say no to something like, okay, we stay longer at work because we have to finish that, or you're not allowed to work remote on Thursday, and so on. Or you have a lot of strategic opportunities. You have a lot of ideas. Everybody says, okay, yes, that sounds great, but you have to say, no, we're not doing that because we don't have the resources, because it's not the best idea. Is that something that changes in management 3.0? Who is making the uncomfortable decisions? Because sometimes it's easier for the manager because the manager is not part of the team. So if we have self-empowered teams and they have to make uncomfortable decisions that are uncomfortable for themselves. So, okay, if I say you should not work on Thursday remote, okay, then I cannot stay at home on next Monday. So it's also a disadvantage for myself. So how is the change? How changes that the management to 0?
Okay.
How can you support the people that, okay, that they understand it makes sense to do that? Because we that's something probably that it brings when we.
I'm repeating it here for the microphone. We have questions on who takes the uncomfortable decisions. Can we delegate them also on the team completely, or still management takes the bad decisions who are people don't like it and you lose some friends and followers in Instagram? So several answers. First, what is the maturity of the team? Then how much decisions did we delegate on them? If it's not a mature team, maybe not all the decisions are delegated. If it's a mature team, I say, arrange how you coordinate yourself to work together in the office or remote. I will leave that for the first with coaching of the Scrum Master. And if they don't come to a conclusion, then I will pick up management. So first, try to solve the problems of a team in the team. And when the problem is too big for the team, comes to a conflict, then management might have to help. But it is, you try to have the people solve the problem first, you check on the maturity, you observe the situation, and then you interfere when you say, this is not going to be solved in the team. That will be my approach in this case, and what I have seen working. That the manager just, and I was in this very same situation you just described. We had to sit in an open office, and this fantastic leader, manager we had, she was also sitting with us in the open office. She was one of us. And people from the Betriebsrat, from the Work Council came with some medical delegates and told me and a colleague we had to turn our table around because the best for us from the light coming in. And we say, thank you very much, but we're not going to do it because otherwise I cannot see my colleague, and I prefer to see my colleague. Thank you for your advice. And say, no, you have to. I'm Spanish. The other one was half Senegalese. We both say, look, don't you think for a minute you're going to tell me what I do? And it got a bit louder. And this manager, she stand up, and she was observing at a 30-meter distance the situation. She was just observing, she didn't move. Things got loud. And at some point I said, look, I'm going to change it. As soon as you walk out, I'm going to change it again. How long are we going to be playing this game? They gave up. And they went. Basques are the most stubborn people in the world. And then she peacefully came over, very slowly. I said, anything we should talk about? I said, no, thank you, don't worry. All right. And she went again. She was close to interfering, but she still gave us the room to solve the problem ourselves. And at the end, after the emotions were cooling down, she came, anything else we need to speak? We said, nothing, thank you. And she left again. Perfect leadership situation. So that is what I recommend for a manager to try. How much can you let the people solve the problem themselves? And I've seen Scrum Masters scaling it to management. I've been conflicts in teams where Scrum Master, very good one, went to management and said, it's out of control. I need management interfering. Very good question. I don't know how much time we have. I just want to be careful that I don't see the sun come out. I'm still speaking. Please.
You presented one slide about fostering human-centered leadership.
Yeah.
And would you just tell us a little bit more about the moving motivators, the person and the identity symbols?
I can do it, but then with a beer, because I will go a bit far in detail. Yeah. So it will be, you ask 3 questions where I need 10 minutes for each of them. Okay. But I can make some slash verbal for the course, because I explained that in the course, by the way. So it is human center is about, I say, for me, my goal in any consultancy I run is when we stop speaking about resources, when I don't hear the word resources anymore. And we speak about our people or our employees or whatever we want to call them. Whatever is not resources, I like it.
Capacity.
Yeah. Bang! Yeah, I have to use violence. Who invited these people? But it is everything you mentioned. I did the personal map last week in a team which is together, and I very often when I present myself, I also afterwards, the first slide is my recognition as an agile consultant, and then come my personal map. Then I see the human aspect behind my person. So that is all about, and a manager should know their people. Doesn't mean it has to know all the details of their private life, but should know their people. I know my team. We have a fantastic company. By the way, we have a new member, Rene Parenberg. I'm very, very happy. We got someone whose name you can pronounce. And I know my people. I know what I can expect and I cannot expect. And I know what they're good for and not good for. And that is, I'm happy. And together, we're a great team. So that is more about that the manager says, okay, I'm not going to change them. I know what's not possible with this person. Don't ask her to talk in public. Or this other person, don't ask her to sterilize, she has a family. So you know what is possible and not possible. And if you combine it properly, you can create amazing teams. That is human-centered from my interpretation. The other questions with the beer. I've been speaking over 1 hour, and because I have the stopper because my watch has been repaired. but I have time. We're driving at 5 o'clock in the morning, no? So we still have a bit of time. Or we can interrupt here. So I think you've been sitting around a lot. The ones online, thank you. I hope you are sitting comfortably too. Any further questions, the ones in here, you can take our business card, and the ones online with my name, you can find me in LinkedIn right away. There's no danger of missing me. And I will be happy to hear from you. And please feel free, if you overnight have any nightmare with the Spanish accent, send me an email tomorrow with a question. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the invitation. And yeah, enjoy the beer. Thank you very much.